Hi, this is Carolyn. Welcome to my Miscellaneous Mondays. This week we're talking about the first 3 chapters in The Prisoner of Azkaban. We start off and it's Harry's best birthday. At least for the first 2 hours, and maybe the hours while he's asleep. It's Harry's 13th birthday, and he finally gets his first birthday card. Actually, he gets 3 birthday cards and 3 gifts by special owl delivery in the middle of the night. Of course, his pocket sneakoscope and his broomstick service kit and his monster book of monsters can't compare to the present that the Dursleys have for him the next morning. I must admit that I've really come to dislike the beginning of each of these books. The summers with the Dursleys were horrible. J.K. Rowling does a really great job of making you really dislike the Dursleys. But in this book, we get a special treat. Nothing compares to Aunt Marge. I thought Aunt Petunia, Uncle Vernon, and Dudley were really bad until I met Aunt Marge in these chapters. At breakfast, Harry's dismal day with the Dursleys begins. And then we meet Aunt Marge, just when we thought it couldn't be any worse. Aunt Marge is coming for a week-long visit, and Harry says it's the worst birthday present he's ever had. Even worse than Uncle Vernon's old socks, which apparently they gave him 1 year for his birthday. Nice. This is just too much to tolerate. Immediately, upon learning that she's coming, Harry starts reminiscing about things from the past and other visits. Says, let's see, like the time she whacked Harry in the shins to stop him from beating Dudley in a game of musical chairs, or when she let her dog chase Harry up a tree and refused to call the dog off until well past midnight. Not only that, but Uncle Vernon has told her that Harry goes to St. Brutus's secure center for incurably criminal boys. I know we're supposed to love our enemies, but Aunt Marge really pushes that one to the limit. But Harry's always thinking and comes up with a clever plan. If he's going to have to do this, he's going to get some benefit out of it. So he comes up with an idea and tells Uncle Vernon, I'll go along with that story if you will sign a permission form so I can go to the village when I'm at school this year. And the plan almost works. Aunt Marge makes the Dursleys seem almost pleasant. And although she only has praises for her little Dudley, Dudley has to be bribed to give her a hug and to be good for her with his 20-pound note. I don't know how they have a Harry act in the movies yet till I see it, but her question to Harry, are you still here? So you're still here? And his response, yes. Immediately she starts harping on him just about his tone of voice. Don't you say yes in that ungrateful tone. She has such a big heart, praising how wonderful Petunia and Vernon are for taking him in. If he had been dumped on her doorstep, she would have thrown him into the orphanage. Real nice Aunt Marge. And Harry tries to smile at her, and she assumes he's smirking at her. The first question she wants to know about St. Brutus's is, do they use a cane? I won't have this namby-pamby, wishy-washy nonsense about not hitting people who deserve it. A good thrashing is what's needed in 99 cases out of 100. Have you been beaten often? Oh, yeah, said Harry, loads of times. Aunt Marge narrowed her eyes. I still don't like your tone, boy. If you can speak of your beatings in that casual way, they clearly aren't hitting you hard enough. Petunia, I'd write if I were you. Make it clear that you approve the use of extreme force in this boy's case. And all of the dark hints that she throws about how unsatisfactory of a person Harry is. You mustn't blame yourself for the way the boys turned out, Vernon. If there's something rotten on the inside, there's nothing anyone can do about it. Aunt Marge reached for her glass of wine. It's one of the basic rules of breeding, she said. You see it all the time with dogs. If there's something wrong with a bitch, there'll be something wrong with a pup. I love it. At that moment, the wine glass that Aunt Marge had been holding exploded in her hands. She has a very firm grip. Harry made it up to the last day there, almost being able to keep his promise. They're at supper or the last night, a fancy dinner that Aunt Petunia made, and there hasn't been mention of any of Harry's negative qualities yet. Until she had to start comparing Harry scrawny little Harry to her nice hefty little Dudley. Aunt Marge has had a healthy portion of wine already for the evening and is on to her brandy. Ah, said Aunt Marge, smacking her lips and putting the empty glass back down. Excellent nosh, Petunia. It's normally just a fry-up for me of an evening with 12 dogs to look after. Oh, pardon me, but I do like to see a healthy-sized boy. You'll be a proper-sized man, Dudders, like your father. Yes, I'll have a spot more brandy, Vernon. Now this one here, she looks at Harry. This one's got a mean, runty look about him. You get that with dogs. I had Colonel Fubster drown one last year. Ratty little thing it was, weak, underbred. Harry tries to hold it together. It all comes down to blood, as I was saying the other day. Bad blood will out. Now, I'm not saying nothing against your family, Petunia, but your sister was a bad egg. They turn up in the best of families, but then, and she ran off with that wastrel, and, here's the result in front of us. And when she finds out that Harry's dad was unemployed, according to Uncle Vernon or Aunt Petunia, as I expected, said Aunt Marge, a no-account, good for nothing, lazy scoundrel. Ah, doesn't she just make you crazy? Don't you just want to... I don't know, but I'm not to feel that way about my enemies. But wow, how can anybody be so nasty? I'd like to think that it's all made up and there aren't real people like that in the world, but there are. It's sad. I don't like that. And finally, Harry stands up for himself. Actually, he stands up for his parents, who aren't there to stand up for themselves. The thing that I find interesting in all of this, that when we're angry and upset with people in our lives, we tend to take all of these negative things and create this idea in our head, taking the negative things and making them bigger than they really are. You might create a story in your head of how mean your mom is, or how mean your dad is, or your sister or your brother, or things that they did, or your teacher, and make it bigger and bigger and bigger until it's not truth anymore. And of course, this is just a story, but it's kind of like that idea, but they're real people, but they're not real people. You know what I'm saying? And the idea that sometimes you get so mad and you just want to blow up. And in this case, Harry didn't blow up himself, but he blew up Aunt Marge. And now, as far as he knows, he's brought heaps of trouble onto himself and is now filled with fear and runs away from the Dursleys' home. Fear that surely he's going to be expelled from Hogwarts, the only safe haven that he has. Fear that he's going to be outlawed from the wizarding world, which he absolutely loves. Fear that now he's out on the streets and he has no muggle money. Fear of whatever the heck it is that he sees outside number 2 Privet Drive. What is that? All right, I'm going to end with 3 thoughts. 1, I love the idea of the night bus, night as in knight in shining armor, rather than night like where you sleep. I guess it's going to come back in the story because as of right now, I don't get it. I don't know why it's called that unless it's just for fun, which that's okay too. 2, why hasn't Harry heard of Sirius Black before if he's such an infamous character that it's assumed that he would know who he was? And 3, why is Cornelius Fudge being so merciful to Harry when Harry's broken rules and done things that Harry knows should be getting a lot more consequences and that he should be kicked out of school for? And having serious repercussions from the Ministry of Magic. Methinks that maybe Cornelius Fudge is up to no good. Either that or there's a lot more to Sirius Black than meets the eye, which that's a good possibility too. Well, that's all I have for this Monday. Join the others for the rest of the week and hear what they have to say about the first 3 chapters of The Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, and last week I had asked if it was Hagrid, and I think I was wrong because I think he actually was at the party at the end of the year in the last book. So sorry about that. glad to know that it's not about Hagrid, but somehow I feel that Hagrid's time at Azkaban is going to be related to this new character, Sirius Black, and that Hagrid's going to know more and be able to help Harry out. We'll see. Just my speculations. Anyway, join us for the rest of the week, and we would love to hear from you. Leave your comments or leave a video so that we can add you to our week next week. Have a great week. Bye.